Hello, Facebook. Hello, Facebook Live. Hello, YouTube. Marcus here. 28th of October, approaching Halloween weekend, and I'm just waiting to officially go live here. Let's see. And there we are. We are live here from Aroma Time. Um, I want to talk about the fire inspector. He came back this week. Let's make sure I got a sound on here. Perfect. Sound works. Sound check. Fire inspector came back this week. We've had a little bit of a run around with the fire inspector here, with our offices in the back building here. Hopefully that's resolved now, so I'll recap that. I want to talk about our new $9.99 special that comes out today until Monday. It's an awesome dish. I'm really excited about it. So let me talk about that first before I talk with our latest dealings with the fire inspector. Because I posted a couple of videos and it's been a bit of a runaround with the fire inspector the last couple of months, and I don't know why it couldn't have just been a bit simpler. But first off, our new $9.99 special is local wild harvested, wild forages maitake mushrooms with local Spofellini rigatoni pasta, which is organic, made from New York grains, with a pecorino cream sauce. That's our new $9.99. It was a dish on our last wine dinner this last week. So if you we're at our wine dinner, which was another sold out event. That's the same dish. We're doing that for $9.99 this week. There is a slight upcharge for gluten free. So if you're gluten free, there's a slight upcharge for that. Gluten free pasta is expensive, and we buy good gluten free pasta from Italy. So that's the special this week. So maitake mushrooms, they were locally, they're in season. Very short amount of time. We're at the tail end of the season. I harvested a bunch 2 weeks ago. Got a lot. And what we do is we wash them, cook them, clean them, cook them, and then we freeze them so we have enough until January. So we have a freezer full of maitake mushrooms right now. So we're going to put that as a $9.99 special this week. And it's also on our regular dish, on our regular menu. So if you come in, it'll be on the specials. It's $18.99. It's a slightly larger portion. If you're dining in-house, but our takeout deal is always awesome. So that's the deal. That stuff will be posted very soon here on our Facebook and our website. Now to the fire inspector. So the fire inspector came back for his third follow-up inspection. And as I mentioned before, if you've watched this, they came here back in, I don't know, July, August. Now it's almost November. And I have propane tanks right outside here in a storage rack that you get like when you pull into a garage gas station to swap out your canisters. Those big racks that are there, we have one of those racks here. Perco gave us one because we go through so much of the 5-gallon propanes because we go through all these heaters. So to be safe and to have it locked up and have them in the storage unit, we, instead of having them just all over the place throughout the yard, we stock 36 at a time, and it's very convenient. The fire inspector came in, didn't like what they saw back there. I called the fire inspector 2 or 3 times, sent an email. So I reached out 2 or 3 times to the village fire inspector and said, hey, what's going on? What do we need to fix here? No answer, no answer, no answer. I called the village manager. I called the Ellenville police chief, and I said, hey, this guy's telling my landlord in my office space that I've got to get rid of these, that they've got to go, that he wrote that it's a hazard, they got to go, they got to be removed immediately. My landlord wants them removed immediately. I said, I'm just interested in looking at the code. I told the village manager and the police chief, I'm just interested in looking at the code to see how many I'm allowed to keep here. Because I'm not allowed to keep 36, then maybe I'm allowed to keep 12 or 24 or whatever. So I was advised from village officials reach out to the fire the fire chief for Ellenville. So I reached out to the fire chief. He came by. I wasn't here, and I called him 2 days later. I said, hey, what'd you think? He goes, Marcus, I'm not allowed to talk to you. I'm going, what do you mean you're not allowed to talk to me? He goes, I was told not to talk to you. Which means 3 of my reach outs, emails and calls to the fire chief got unanswered. And now I'm trying to resolve this and find out like what is actually safe, what's the code, this and that. I'm not getting anywhere. He's telling my landlord to remove everything. Now the fire chief can't even talk to me. He's been told by the village to not talk to me. You're not allowed to talk to Marcus. I'm not allowed to talk to you, Marcus. I'm like, really? I'm like, this, like, really? What do I pay taxes for in Ellenville? Like, what am I paying taxes for? And I even went on Facebook Live and said, this should be so much simpler. Like, they should come here and want to work with you and be like, you know what? That's not safe. If you had 24 instead of 36 is what code me and this and that. So they came by and did a surprise inspection. He said it was a scheduled inspection, but it wasn't. He came and and he missed his previous inspection. The landlord paid somebody to sit out front for 4 hours to wait for him, and I was on hand. So then he comes back with surprise inspection. And he didn't even know what he was inspecting. He's like, I got to get in the garage and make sure that wall's fire rated. Meantime, in his notes from his previous inspection, it was inside another building on the property that he wanted to make sure was fire rated. But oh well. I appeased him anyway, and I said, yeah, it's fire rated. There you go. And that's not what was in his notes, what he was supposed to be inspecting. So, because they give you a report and say we're coming back to look at X, Y, and Z, and that was not X, Y, and Z. That was something totally new that he was trying to look at X, Y, and Z. And I was like, that's not in your notes. That's not in the previous notes, and it's a cinder block wall, so it's kind of fireproof. So take a look, take a picture, and submit it, whatever you want to do. So, and I said, you know what? Not for nothing, Ken. Not for nothing, but you know what? I called you twice. I emailed you once. I tried to reach out. I called the village manager. I called the police chief. I called the fire chief. And to try to resolve this, I said, I just want to resolve it. Like, you've come here before you inspected. I've resolved things. I can resolve things. When you don't answer me, I can't resolve it. And he says to me, he goes, you should have your landlord hire an attorney to decipher the code. I'm like, so if my landlord needs to hire an attorney to decipher the code, you probably don't know the code. I'm like, you probably have no clue what the code is. So, like, really? Like, there's no need to hire an attorney. Just tell us what we have to do. Don't tell me I got to get rid of these propane tanks. So I said, why can't we just make this easy, Ken? I said, I reached out to you to resolve the problem. I want to resolve the problem, but I know I'm allowed so many propane tanks here. I know I'm allowed it. If I'm over the limit, then, we'll remove some. Whatever. If I got to move this thing around back here, I'll do it. But to tell me I got to get rid of it, I know is not right. And you're saying I got to get rid of it. So he goes, well, I'll email the landlord the code again. So he emails the landlord the code. He came back yesterday. Totally different person. Totally different person. It was crazy. Totally different person. Dawn's saying the video gets interrupted. Dawn, if you just go back like 10, 15 seconds and then press play, you'll be behind a little bit, but you won't get interrupted. That's typically how that works. If you're getting interrupted, and I'm sorry. Sometimes people get interrupted, sometimes they don't. Service, strengths of signals and stuff like that all vary. So he came back like a totally different person 2 days ago. Totally different person. He came back with his tape measure, and he's like, Marcus, just move this over 3 feet. We got to make sure we're 10 feet off of over here. And I'm thinking, like, you could have done this back in August? Like, you couldn't have told me back in August or returned my phone call. I'm thinking this myself. I didn't say anything to him because I'm just not. It's just maybe he saw the last video I did and came back as a different person. I don't know. Or maybe the mayor saw it, or maybe somebody else saw it and said, this guy's ridiculous. What's his problem? Maybe one of his bosses. I don't know. So he came back so helpful this time. And like tape measure, and he's like, listen, just move it over 3 feet. Let's make sure we're 10 feet. This is the way the code reads, is you got to be 10 feet from this door. You got to be up here. This has one egress. And he came back like so helpful, like a totally different person. A totally different person. I was like, I'm shocked. I'm totally shocked. Like, this has been going on since August. And he's been so cranky about it and tell people, the village, not to talk to me and this and that and gone on and on. And it was just like one of those things. He came back as like a totally different inspector and came back like actually helpful to resolve the problem right then and there. But like, so imagine if he did that to every place he went. He probably wouldn't have any hours left. He probably wouldn't have enough work in the village because he could resolve every problem on the first and second inspection and going back 2, 3, 4 times and doing the same work over and over and over again. So maybe it's one of those things just to keep his hours, keep his job. I don't really know. But it was just ironic that he came back as a totally different person and came back. Sven said new meds. He got new meds. So yeah, that's what somebody here said on Facebook. He got new meds. Well, whatever it was, new meds. Somebody got through to him, his boss, I don't know, or maybe he saw my video himself. He came back as a new person. It was very helpful. It's a pleasure dealing with inspectors like that. It's really a pleasure dealing with inspectors like that. So hopefully that's the future of the village inspectors and code enforcers and fire inspectors. Hopefully that's the future of them. hopefully, fingers crossed, hopefully, then I wouldn't have to run for mayor. So, not that I want to run for mayor anyway, but people want me to run for mayor. So, not that I would anyway. Folks, I got to get out of here.
Wait. Did you talk about
The special.
the special?
I did, first thing.
And talk about Monday night. It's something new.
Oh, Monday night.
We're trying something new.
Monday night, we're trying something brand new here. We're doing cocktails and
fall cocktails.
fall cocktails.
So 4 fall cocktails.
4 fall cocktails
And a dish
and a dish.
for $29.
$29. Same format as our wine dinners, same format as our beer dinners.
If somebody does not really drink cocktails, we'd be happy to substitute in beer and wine.
Right. So you can easily come with somebody who's not into the cocktail scene, and you can sub in wine or beer, whatever. We're very flexible. We're just happy to have you here eating with us. We're very happy to have you patronizing our business. So that's easy to do. We can substitute in. If you're one of the people, like if you're a couple and it's 2 of you and one doesn't want to do that at all, they can order whatever they want, and you can go through the cocktails this night. It starts at 6:30. It starts at 6:30, and it's going to be a really fun event. So cocktails. Jamie, I'm sure you'll have some different kind of cocktails, maybe a whiskey-based one, a gin-based one, a seasonal pumpkinish one. I'm sure.
There's definitely going to be a pumpkin. There's definitely going to be an apple.
Pumpkin and an
It's
apple.
going to be fall. They're all
Fall.
gonna be
Fall themes.
So,
I like that. Fall themes. Fall cocktails and a dish. Fall cocktails are $29 this Monday.
The other thing I really would like you to just mention is Thanksgiving, because we've been getting a lot of calls.
A lot of calls for Thanksgiving. Folks, we're doing it to go only on Thanksgiving. What are the times, Jamie?
11 to 2 is pickup.
11 to 2 is pickup. Call ahead of
25th.
time. 25th on Thanksgiving Day. It's $35 a person.
35 a person.
35 a person.
And
All the fixins includes everything.
Yep, and you have a choice between tofurkey, salmon, and turkey.
Turkey. So turkey or tofurkey. Lori says somebody got to him. Does the landlord have any political connections? No, the landlord's brand new to the village. Brand new to the village. He has no political. At first, the landlord was like, Marcus, just do what he says. I'm like, his name is Eric, the landlord. I'm like, Eric, you don't understand. I'm allowed to have those back. I'm allowed to have those right there. I'm allowed to have those. Like, he's just going to come in and start saying stupid stuff. And, and we just have to say, what are we allowed? Like, what am I allowed? So he has no political connections, the landlord. But somebody got to him somehow, because it was totally out of his realm of that. And he's a nice guy to begin with, but he just, the way he was doing the last few times is just, and I've never gotten along with the inspectors here, as you've seen from my previous videos. And if you go to exposeelmvillebuildinginspector.com, you'll see the whole story of my run-ins with the building inspector and the code enforcers here. You'll see my whole run-ins at exposeelmvillebuildinginspector.com. I don't have those run-ins anymore with that in particular inspector. In fact, he moved away from town and everything. People congratulated me for standing up to that particular one. So I don't know. So maybe they're scared of me. I don't know. But back to Thanksgiving. Everything's included. $35. You get either turkey, if you're vegetarian or vegan, tofurkey, or salmon.
Tofurkey, salmon, or turkey. Turkey, salmon, or tofurkey.
Yep. So turkey, salmon, or tofurkey. Can somebody do a ribeye if they want? Would there be a slight upcharge for like ribeye? Yeah, so we can add a ribeye in there and do a slight upcharge for a ribeye. That's no problem.
And we're not doing any other menu items that day. We're
just doing Thanksgiving. Yep, just doing Thanksgiving. So folks, ribeye is like $33 on our menu to begin with, so we have to be a slight upcharge for that. Sorry about that. We'll do an upcharge, maybe $40. That sound fair, Jamie?
Perfect.
$39 with all the fixings, ribeye and all the fixings. As long as the prices of beef don't keep going up, because the prices are killing us right now with so many things, just killing us, and it's a shame. The inflation that's happening and the prices of food is just insane. So, effects, folks, I got to get going. 647-3000 to make reservations for the cocktails, 4 cocktails on a dish, Thanksgiving, nightly reservations. We recommend reservations tonight. We're back to mostly indoor dining. If you want to eat outside, we're not going to stop you from sitting outside. However, on colder nights, I can't send staff outside, if you understand. I don't have enough staff to do both. So you can sit outside and we'll treat it more like takeout food. We'll put it on real plates and stuff like that. But it's going to be more like takeout food, and it might not be full service. You might have to come inside and say, hey, I'm ready for another drink, or I'd like to order my dinner now, or whatever, and stuff like that. So it's just not full service. We'll be able to get you food and drinks, all that kind of stuff. Some people are still very insistent on sitting outside, and that's your right. That's your views. And as long as we can accommodate you, we totally will. And some people are like, no, I'm totally fine inside, and that's your views and that's your right. So we'll be able to accommodate you there too. So that's it, folks. Have an amazing day, and we'll talk to you later.